From being one of the largest economies of the world, to being a member of free trade agreements, Mexico presents lots of exciting business opportunities for new market entrants. However, with benefits, there comes some drawbacks as well. From insecurity issues, to cultural differences, to issues with business permits, there are also some disadvantages and ethical implications of doing business in Mexico. Therefore, investors must learn the ins and outs of Mexico's business infrastructure, customs and laws, and the potential risks associated with starting and managing a business in Mexico. This video sheds light on the pros and cons of doing business in Mexico. A proper understanding of the pros and cons of doing business in Mexico not only helps limit the risks involved, but at the same time, guarantees an ideal business start. Let's get started with the pros of doing business in Mexico. Mexico is a country with the largest number of free trade agreements in place. The country maintains free trade agreements with almost 50 different nations. Most importantly, it is also a member of the North American Free Trade Agreement. With various free trade agreements in place, business owners in Mexico can enjoy global market access, and carry out import-export activities without the cost of tariffs or at extremely low rates. Mexico is an emerging market economy with great business opportunities. Its high-value market with low competition makes it easy for new businesses to scale and succeed. The high potential and low competition market makes it possible to easily dominate your niche by providing good quality services or products. Because what you provide is not readily available.
Welcome to Mexico's first $1 shop. Quality products for $1 only. Hurry up and get your favorite products.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Let's go.
Everything for $1, really? Yahoo!
This way you have got definite chances to becoming an industry expert, and easily establishing your brand without facing fierce competition. Mexico's economy has remained pretty stable over the years. This makes Mexico an ideal place to start a business, or invest in a business, without worries of economic disaster. The exchange rate between the US dollar and the Mexican peso is very much stable. The exchange rate has been pretty stable, at about 18 pesos to the dollar. The stable exchange rates mean your purchasing power stays constant, especially if you keep the money obtained in Mexico for reinvestment. And then there is always the opportunity to channel more capital to expand business operations. The labor force in Mexico is highly skilled. The country has hardworking, smart, and intelligent labor that originates from science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields. Therefore, made in Mexico products are of the best quality standards. Mexico offers skilled labor force in cheap rates. The average wage is only 20% more what Chinese firms offer, plus, businesses enjoy the perks of being present in the North American economy. Mexico is in close proximity to the United States of America. Both countries share a border, which means people of USA doing their business in Mexico can enjoy several key advantages like managing business operations without much of a stress, and getting on site within a few hours. In the case of border cities, like El Paso and Juarez, workers can even do a daily commute. Furthermore, the Mexican time zones correlate with Central, Mountain, and Pacific time zones of the USA. The corresponding time zones make it easy for the USA business owners to communicate with their Mexican business partners and workers during normal business hours. This is very much beneficial in contrast to managing business operations in third world countries, as USA managers with businesses in Mexico don't have to face time zone delays, schedule late-night meetings, or meet the huge expenses of visiting far-flung nations. The Mexican market of 120 million consumers readily accepts American manufacturing and prefers it more over any other country-made product. This is another big advantage for American business owners looking to launch or expand their business operations in Mexico, as the Mexican consumers would readily purchase their products. There is robust word-of-mouth marketing in Mexico. This is because most Mexicans have large extended families. They love spending time with their families. They love visiting each other. They love partying with their friends and family. The center of Mexican social activity is family, as everything revolves around the family. Therefore, if you offer quality product or service to the Mexicans, you are guaranteed to experience robust word-of-mouth marketing by the consumers, who will share positive experiences with your company at family gatherings and parties, and that's better than a paid billboard or social media advertisement. So make sure you offer best quality products or service to the Mexican consumers, as each happy customer can steer dozens of new customers your way. Mexico has well-established business laws and special tax policies. The country has strong financial laws in place, getting a work permit is quick and easy, and there is 100% business ownership for both locals and internationals. There's no shortage of business consulting agencies in Mexico. For foreigners, trying to establish business operations might take a lot of time. This is because the paperwork, laws, taxes, and policies might be quite different from that of their native country. But worry not, as you will easily find business consulting agencies in Mexico, which will efficiently handle all your stress, manage the paperwork process, and help enable business operations in the shortest time possible. Mexico offers strong legal protection for intellectual property rights. The fully secured protection helps protect your company's patents, as well as eliminates risks like copyright issues. Mexico has lower personal living expenses. The cost of living is almost half of what the living expenses in the USA and Canada are. With lower living expenses, business owners are at a great advantage, because this way, they can enjoy luxury lifestyle in a small budget, they can save money for business investments, they are less likely to deal with financial crisis, avoid going broke at the end of the month, and remain away from financial stress. Mexico is in a great position geography-wise. It is the connection between North, Central, and South America, which stand to benefit the export sector. There is political stability in Mexico. The country's political stability is a significant plus for businesses, as it ensures a well-equipped ecosystem for business development. Also, the government offers several key benefits to lure investors. Now let's go through the cons of doing business in Mexico. Getting your business started in Mexico takes around 2 months. The biggest one-time cons of doing business in Mexico is that it takes around 2 months for your business to become fully operational. This includes getting a construction permit, registering your company, getting water and sewage connection, and getting an electricity connection. Furthermore, to get each of the permits and utilities, every business owner has to go through several procedures, such as dealing with public registry of property, obtaining certificate of good standing, obtaining zoning certificate stating specific land use, registering with Mexican Social Security Institute, getting inspections, and going through lots of bureaucratic processes. So you see that, getting your business started in Mexico, is a long and tedious task. Which means a business owner has to compromise so much time for this one-time process. And you know what? A single mistake in any of the processes can reverse the complete process and take you back to the initial stage. So, if you are new to Mexico and aren't familiar with the business laws and regulations, it's recommended that you take the services of a reputed business consulting agency to help you get started in a minimal time frame. Paying taxes in Mexico requires considerable time and effort of more than 240 hours. Businesses in Mexico have to pay tax 6 times a year, spending more than 240 hours in total. Mexico ranks 9th in the list of top 10 most complex jurisdictions for financial compliance. In terms of bookkeeping, Mexico tops the list, with the worst ever complexity rating of 78%. Therefore, a business owner needs a proper accounts department to handle all the stuff. But don't worry. The tax procedure gets easier once businesses get used to the process. It takes around 400 days to enforce a business contract when you start doing business in Mexico. Starting a business in Mexico? Get ready to wait for up to a year, and go through 38 different procedures to successfully enforce a business contract. The relationship-oriented culture of Mexico may annoy you, if you are not used to it. Task-oriented societies, like the USA, get down to business very quickly. On the other hand, relationship-oriented societies, like Mexico, tend to focus on building trust and good relations, before getting down to business. Here's an example, which will clear your understanding, regarding the differences between task-oriented society, and relationship-oriented society. An example of boss complaining about company's sales drop with his employee, in task-oriented society.
Hey Sam, can I get to know why our product sales have dropped this quarter?
Respected sir, as per my research, there's a new competitor in the town, who has stepped in, with an innovative new marketing campaign, and this is the reason why our sales are currently suffering.
You are a senior member of our company's marketing department, so I want you to get to the bottom of the issue and fix it as soon as possible. I want good results this new quarter. You may leave now. Thanks for your time.
Okay boss. You will not be disappointed this time.
An example of boss complaining about company's sales drop with his employee, in relationship-oriented society.
Hey Ben, how are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you doing sir?
I am good. How were your Christmas vacations with your family?
I enjoyed a lot sir. I had a whale of time with my family.
Oh, that's great. May you always be happy.
Thanks sir for your blessings.
Actually Ben, I called you here, because I am pretty much worried regarding my company's sales. You see, how our sales have drastically declined this quarter. You are this company's senior and most efficient marketing employee. I want to know, why has this happened, and how can we combat this decline?
Yeah boss, you are right. It was a disappointing quarter for the company. However, you please don't worry sir, because I have figured out why has this happened, and how to overcome this sales slump.
So what's the issue and how to fix it?
Actually sir, there are some new competitors in the town, who have come out with innovative new marketing campaigns. I have enhanced our marketing campaign as well, and I am confident that sales will boost this new quarter. This time, our company will not fall short of its goals.
That's great Ben. Go forth and conquer.
From these two different examples, we have seen that, in task-oriented societies, like the USA, people get down to business directly. This is because, all that socializing, talking about family, and stuff like, how are you doing, seems like chit-chat or a waste of time. On the other hand, in relationship-oriented society, like Mexico, directly getting down to business is implying that the business is more important than the relationship. And with a Mexican sense of tradition, no amount of business can be more important than an individual. So it seems rude to get down to business too quickly, without all of the niceties. The indirect communication with high-context culture may annoy you, if you are not used to it. Mexico has an indirect high-context culture, which means, as a listener, you have to pay attention to not only what is said, but also focus on how it is said, or the manner in which it is said. A yes could mean yes, but it could also mean no, or maybe. Here's an example, which will clear your understanding of a society with indirect communication and high-context culture.
Hey Ben, let's schedule a one-on-one business meeting this Sunday. I have expansion plans for my company. You are the most experienced and best performing employee of this company, so I consider you the perfect fit to share my expansion plans and get rich ideas and suggestions from you.
Boss, this coming Sunday.
Yeah, Ben.
Oh man. This Sunday, I have planned a picnic with my family. I promised them. It's been 3 months, we haven't spent time together. But how should I say no to my boss? He has always been very supportive and caring.
So Ben, what are you thinking?
Actually boss, this Sunday I will. Okay boss, you may confirm the meeting. I will come.
That's great Ben. Let's meet at 3 p.m. this Sunday evening.
It's 3:30 p.m. Sunday, and Ben hasn't arrived yet.
Let me call him and ask where is he? He is not attending the phone call. I think he will not come.
Boss and Ben meet on Monday morning.
Hey Ben, why didn't you come yesterday? Where have you been?
I am extremely sorry boss. Actually, there was a family emergency. I was too much occupied, as I had to deal with it. Let's reschedule our meeting to this coming Sunday.
In short, indirect communication is a way of communicating wherein a person chooses to act out what they really mean, instead of saying it directly. With the use of tone of voice, tone, gestures, and facial reactions, a person can say something and mean entirely different. Since the communication is subtle and diplomatic, so you have to pay attention to not only what is said, but how it is said. You need to probe deeper to understand both the content and the context in which it is said. For example, you have seen how Ben showcased several gestures to indirectly tell his boss that he can't attend the Sunday meeting. There was a change of facial expressions. He changed his expressions from this, to this, to this, and to this. He also took a lot of time to think, and said, several times, as if he is unable to decide on what to do. But why do Mexicans prefer indirect communication? The reason for this is that they want to avoid conflicts, avoid arguments, be in the safe side, or to ultimately save face. Therefore, as a listener, you need to properly interpret the conversation or ask the same thing very politely, if you want a correct answer to your question. One other disadvantage of doing business in Mexico is the language barrier. The country is home to intelligent and skilled bilingual workers. But Spanish still remains the language of business here. By law, you have to label all your products in Spanish, as well as present all documents, such as tax documents to the local government, in Spanish. There is insecurity in Mexico, but only to some extent. The country is dealing with several insecurity issues that include corruption, bribery, drug trafficking, and violence. But one very important thing that you need to understand is that insecurity does exist, but just like every other country, it tends to be concentrated in isolated areas only, where the main cities are quite safe, but the isolated towns have insecurity levels. Secondly, insecurity has considerably reduced in the past years, and continues to be declined in the future. The government has launched crackdowns against drug mafias, corruption, and violence, which has greatly improved the country's law and order situation. Overall, Mexico has a well-established business infrastructure, which make it an ideal and promising place to doing business. The country provides all the facilities to smoothly carry out work operations, for all types of businesses, plus there's an opportunity for businesses to get hold of the low competition but high potential market, and earn lots of profits. So these were the pros and cons of doing business in Mexico. For a detailed guideline on Mexico's business environment, and profitable tips, visit pafeb.com/Mexico-business. Thanks for watching. Wishing success and power to you all.